if somebody was on the fence with taking the jump with investing in themselves, joining Coaches Connect, coming to the first Coaches Connect weekend, what would you say to that person?
If you believe in yourself enough, and it sounds corny, like it does really sound corny, if you believe that you're actually going to succeed in this business, then you will get the return on investment. If you have those doubts, and not the doubts that we all have, regular, it's more like you don't have that entrepreneurial, that drive. I don't want to do the scheduling, I don't want to do all that stuff, then don't. But if you believe that you can do this thing that you've set out to do, the return on investment will happen, you just have to do it. And that was the scary part for me, was I couldn't pay for it. I barely could pay for it. I was closing bank accounts down. I was in a point where I considered taking other jobs, working with people I didn't want to work with, and paid for what I couldn't afford, and I've double, tripled on that investment.
Joey, my man, give us your name, what do you do, and what's your business?
I'm Joey Hanley, so I run Fearless Sports Performance. We are a baseball company, primarily in person. We're in Southern California, Westlake Village. We do the pitching development side, so working on the skill aspect, and then we do strength and conditioning as well. So our primary audience and clientele is our pitchers. The rest of them are usually, honestly, catchers, because they are going to want to work on their arm strength, their arm health. A lot of times they don't know how to modulate the volume and intensity.
Awesome, dude. So tell us a little bit about, before you joined Coaches Connect, where were you at with your business, your mindset? What were you struggling with?
Where I was at was I gained more clients than I had anticipated at once. I didn't know how to manage that. And so my time became very scrambled. I had too many people on the floor at one time, and then I would expand the schedule. And then I didn't even know what really drove more clients toward me. Even when it was word of mouth, I wasn't sure exactly what it was, so I didn't have an area to focus on.
So lack of systems.
Yeah, lack of systems. Like I didn't know exactly what it was that everyone loved so much that wanted to make them come in. So I didn't have that direction to go, okay, this is the one thing I need to work on because I'm really good at it. Yeah. I thought I had to do more than I was already doing. And then a couple things happened in life and ended up losing a little over 20 grand. And I was just like making money, but got put into a massive hole of debt where everything I made, I either would match or go negative then to pay bills.
Awesome. So pretty tough financial spot. And was it more so not knowing how to get people in the door consistently?
It was either not knowing how to get people in or understanding sort of how to increase the volume with the space I have, right? I only have so much space for I only like to have 6 athletes at a time. That's just personally how I feel like I can fulfill better, 6 athletes at a time. But I didn't know how to necessarily manage that or how to do more.
And how was that showing up like negatively within your business or how you were feeling stress-wise?
I would show up overwhelmed a lot. The programming would get a little diluted. Not that the culture was starting to get bad, but like I was starting to get a little bit lazier because I was just tired all the time. I was overrun. I didn't know exactly what avenues to take to actually get the guys the results that they needed because I was starting to pack the house without having anything in place to like make adjustments, go off the fly based on what their schedule looked like. Are they sore that day? Whatever it might be. So I was just lost in that aspect, and then I started coming into the floor tired. People could tell, it was showing, and then athletes were getting they were getting turned off by that.
Yeah. What point were you at that made you want to make this investment and take the jump into Coaches Connect?
I realized that if I didn't continue, I was going to be working for somebody else pretty soon. I was going down the hole so bad and so fast that it was very dark and overwhelming, and I was in a very, very dark space just mentally, and it was taking a massive toll on my marriage. It was taking a massive toll just on my own health, my physical health as well, and I realized that AJ had built something that I wanted to build, like similar in terms of his facility, baseball, the culture, and I had been following him for a long time as well, and I respected what he's done, the way he's gone about it, and I realized, through other mentorships, this was going to be the one place I was actually going to be able to grow. So I had to take that leap and just kind of say, all right, like, this is where I need direction. I need direction from someone who's done it.
What was your situation change from there where you were at money-wise to now?
Now I can pay the bills again and have a little bit of room for some fun. Family life is a lot better. I have bought back time just knowing what to work on.
Yeah.
So instead of, thinking I need to focus on a bunch of different stuff to get people in the door, to get, in-person remote athletes, or schedule my day, I know exactly what to work on every day, every week. And it's all mapped out because I know, like, okay, for me, for example, content and ads. Those are the thing that move the needle for the business. So I know that I just go 99% on content and ads in my time that I'm not on the floor, and I start to gain that traction that I need, and then I can spend that other time doing, the email campaigns and all that as well. But having AJ sort of,
How much has your revenue increased since being in the program?
my revenue's increased by 3,000 to 4,000 a month at the moment.
Amazing. Awesome, dude. What's your internal situation like now, comparatively?
What do you mean?
Emotionally, psychologically?
I have more time to breathe, it feels like. I can sit down and, like, when the day's over and go, yeah, I got that done. I was able to actually do the things that moved me forward, and then there's proof. There's tangible proof that things are trending the right way, so I'm able to actually sit down and breathe. I'm able to actually be mentally present when I'm with my wife having dinner. I actually have that time again where I'm able to be a person and not just a coach 24/7.
Amazing. Coming to this weekend, what were the biggest takeaways that hit you the hardest?
The first one was to remind me to keep going onto the thing that's working. Because I think for me, it's easy to go back off that path of, like, this is working, but having that limited belief of, like, maybe it won't, when I know I'm good at it. Like, I know I'm good at the content. I know I'm good at the ads. So doubling down on that and making sure that I'm just tracking that more, making sure that I'm more aware of, like, what's really hitting, and then keeping better track of, like, what topics, what hooks, the way it's delivered, what's delivering best. And then I can also start inputting that into, like, long form content as well. And then the other part was just the overall scheduling of my day could definitely be cleaned up a little bit more, especially spending so much time on the content. I could definitely have more time filming and then take the editing, put that elsewhere, give that to somebody else to do, so I have time to go work on other things that are going to move the needle in the business.
Amazing. If someone who's on the fence with taking the jump, with investing in themselves, joining Coaches Connect, coming to the first Coaches Connect weekend, what would you say to that person?
If you believe in yourself enough, and it sounds corny, like, it does really sound corny, if you believe that you're actually going to succeed in this business, then you will get the return on investment. If you have those doubts, and not the doubts that we all have, regular, it's more like you don't have that entrepreneurial, that drive. I don't want to do the scheduling, I don't want to do all that stuff, then don't. But if you believe that you can do this thing that you've set out to do, the return on investment will happen. You just have to do it. And that was the scary part for me, was I couldn't pay for it. I barely could pay for it. I was closing bank accounts down. I was in a point where I considered taking other jobs. Working with people I didn't want to work with, and paid for what I couldn't afford, and I've doubled, tripled on that investment.